Welcome to KaleidoPedia. This is Yixiong. This is the first video I'm sharing here. From now on, I hope to use this platform to talk about books, films, music, technology, current topics, and ideas that I find meaningful. For me, this is also a small way to connect with people. The internet allows ideas to travel across distance, language, and background. A thought shared by one person may unexpectedly reach another person somewhere in the cloud. Maybe this video will reach people who think in a similar way. Maybe it will reach people who think differently but remain open to conversation. Either way, I hope KaleidoPedia can become a place where ideas meet, expand, and sometimes change how we see the world. Investment is one of those topics that never loses attention. Professionals study it, authors write about it, podcasters discuss it, and YouTubers turn it into daily content. Every year, new books are published, each trying to explain where the next opportunity may come from. But this book caught my attention not only because it talks about investment, but also because of Shi Hanbing himself. As a journalist turned researcher, he was once widely known in China for his direct and sometimes sharp comments on macroeconomic trends. Then, for around 11 years, he did not publish a new book. That long silence makes this book feel more unusual. He is outspoken in his writing, yet in many ways he remains mysterious. We can read his views, his judgments, and his warnings, but we do not see much of the person behind them. In this book, he describes himself as a trend researcher who once tried to stop certain things from moving in a bad direction, full of passion, and often without much concern for risks or consequences. Later, he stepped back and focused quietly on studying trends and cycles. That leads to a central question discussed in this book as well as in this video. When facing uncertainty, should we proactively chase opportunities, or should we wait patiently for the right moment? The first philosophy is what I would call chasing growth. This approach starts with the belief that wealth is created when major trends reshape the world. Capital moves, technologies emerge, industries rise and decline. New shortages appear while old advantages disappear. Under this philosophy, the investor's task is not simply to analyze today's situation, but to anticipate tomorrow's. Shi Hanbing repeatedly emphasizes the importance of understanding what he calls the trend, the direction in which capital, resources, technology, and people are moving. In his view, many of the biggest investment opportunities emerge precisely when old trends are ending and new trends are beginning. Artificial intelligence, robotics, energy transition, industrial relocation, strategic resources, and technological scarcity are all examples discussed in the book. The goal is to identify these shifts early and position capital before the majority of the market recognizes them. This is a proactive approach to investing. It seeks growth before it becomes obvious. Similar philosophies have appeared in many other recent books about investment. For example, The Venture Mindset by Ilya Strabelayev and Alex Stein. The book argues that missing an exceptional opportunity can be more costly than investing in a failed one. Investors should cast a wide net, build broad networks, rapidly eliminate weak opportunities, and then spend significant effort evaluating the small number that remain. Teams often matter more than ideas. A first-class team can improve an average project, while an outstanding idea can still fail under weak execution. They encourage investors to actively seek opposing opinions, challenge consensus views, and avoid becoming trapped by internally generated assumptions. Viewed this way, both books share a similar belief. Extraordinary returns are rarely found by waiting for certainty. They are usually found by recognizing important trends early and acting before those trends become obvious to everyone else. The second philosophy is holding value. Instead of focusing primarily on what might become important in the future, this approach focuses on what has already proven its value. The investor looks for businesses with durable competitive advantages, strong market positions, stable profitability, and products that people continue to need year after year. Shi Hanbing discusses this philosophy through examples such as Warren Buffett's investments and the power of long-term compounding. The message is that successful investing is not always about finding the next trend. Sometimes it is about identifying exceptional businesses and allowing time to work in your favor. In this framework, patience becomes an investment strategy. Compounding becomes the primary source of wealth creation. A great company held for decades can sometimes outperform a series of clever predictions. A similar idea appears in What I Learned About Investing from Darwin by Pulak Prasad. Prasad draws lessons from biological evolution and argues that long-term investment success often comes from identifying businesses with the ability to survive, adapt, and compound over time. Rather than constantly searching for the next opportunity, investors can benefit from owning resilient companies that continue strengthening their competitive position year after year. This perspective echoes one of the central themes found in Shi Hanbing's discussion of value investing. Wealth creation is not only about finding the next winner, it is also about recognizing enduring quality and giving time the opportunity to compound its value. Viewed through Shi Hanbing's lens, these two philosophies may not be opposites at all. Growth investing seeks to discover where future value will be created, and value investing seeks to preserve and compound that value once it's been found. One philosophy answers the question of where value may emerge, and the other answers the question of how value can endure. What impressed me most about this book was not any specific investment recommendation. It was the author's mindset. Throughout the book, Shi Hanbing tries to examine trends with very little emotional attachment or moral judgment. His focus is not on whether something is good or bad, but on understanding what is happening and how people should respond. Personal preferences do not change reality. The first step is to understand what is happening. The second is to decide how to respond. Everything else is noise. The book also reveals how much effort lies behind genuine clarity. Behind every conclusion lies extensive observation, research, and analysis. Remaining objective is difficult. Doing the work required to become objective is even harder. Looking across both investment philosophies, several themes appear repeatedly throughout the book. Trends, scarcity, and technological capability. Regardless of which investment philosophy one prefers, these forces continue shaping opportunities, industries, and the future itself. The world never stands still. Technologies evolve. Industries evolve. Economies evolve. Even the ideas we use to understand investing continue to evolve. Over time, different investment philosophies challenge one another, borrow from one another, and gradually absorb each other's strengths. Growth investors learn the importance of patience. Value investors learn the importance of change. And perhaps that's not only true for investing, it may be true for life itself. The ability to recognize emerging trends has always mattered. The ability to preserve enduring value has always mattered. Neither can be ignored. Evolution is not an exception. It is the rule. Whether in nature, in business, in investing, or in our own lives, the future belongs neither to those who blindly chase every new trend, nor to those who cling endlessly to the past. The future belongs to those who can recognize change, adapt with it, and still preserve what is worth keeping. That is the deeper lesson behind these two investment philosophies, not simply how to invest, but how to evolve.